What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jay Rich here to talk some NBA prop plays over on Prizepicks for Saturday, January 14th. Of course, we will go through the odds jam screener and take a look to see if there are any plus EV plays, but I do have two plays that are some fantasy score ones over on Prizepicks I think you can take advantage of because of the way the books have set their lines. So let's dive into all those props right now. For all the high-flying action, take a step back and relax. It's time to count that money, the NBA props. No look any further. You know what time it is. Presented by Prizepicks, NBA props. Let's
count that money, man.
All right, so you can see here there is one play that actually just popped up when I refreshed it, talking about Joel Embiid over his points at 32.5. Looks pretty good. You can see where the book lines kind of have it here. Pinnacle is the highest at -160. Prizepicks obviously -119, but you'd have to put that in a 5-pick or 6-pick flex. So if you are making some bigger bets, that could be one you take. The not a massive edge, only 2.31%. And then the width is pretty wide as well because Pinnacle is really the only book that is heavily juiced to the over for Joel Embiid. They are up against the Utah Jazz, who are fairly susceptible in the middle. But you can see here there is a little bit of EV that you can get on this play. You see the recommended bet size around $15, but again, it's a little too wide, and the bigger thing is that you'd have to put in a 5 or 6 pick flex. So you could put that one in. And then there's also Tyrese Maxey was here. Victor Oladipo was in here earlier, but not a ton of edge. Not ones I'd be looking for. You want to see something a little bit higher than even 2.3%, but that's kind of the play we're looking at right now in terms of the edge tool. So you can use that one if you want for some of your plays. But getting into the model, there are a couple of defenders that I do really like tonight. Starting with OG Anunoby, one of the players who is a, not quite front runner, but pretty close to it for Defensive Player of the Year. We know we like to take those guys in terms of their fantasy score up against the Atlanta Hawks tonight, playing at home again. His points, rebounds, and assists has not been very good. He did not hit his 24.5 last game. He almost did, but didn't score enough in the fourth. And then the big thing, obviously, is if you take the fantasy score at 31.5, his blocks and steals are juiced a little bit to the over. I think a little bit to the over, depending on where you look. They are at 2.5. They're pretty much always at 2.5 for OG Anunoby because he's a guy who can get 5, 6 steals in a game. Now, while the Hawks don't turn it over too much, it is a pretty good spot for OG. And you can see right here, 30th best matchup for opposing small forwards. Literally the best matchup in the NBA for small forwards in terms of points, rebounds, and assists and fantasy score. OG can take advantage of it. I still think Siakam can have a good game. Could see a lot of Gary Trent. Could see a lot of Fred. Who knows with the Raptors? Scotty obviously can get it done as well. So I think with OG, if you're taking the fantasy score, you have to obviously hope he hones in on defense. I think he can. I think it's a really good spot for him. And like you see here, juice to the over on the books for the points, rebounds, and assists. I think it's a pretty good spot for OG. And I also think it's a pretty good spot for Jaren Jackson Jr. taking his over fantasy score at 35.5. You can see it's the 24th best matchup or 24th matchup for the Indiana Pacers. We know the Pacers don't rebound well. They allow a lot of points to big men. And on top of that, they do actually get blocked quite a bit. So Jaren Jackson, a player we know can rack up 5, even 6 blocks in a game. His blocks and steals are literally set to 3.5, as you see right here. 3.5 for Jaren Jackson with juice to the over. Give me the fantasy score as far as that's concerned. He's been a player who's had a minimum of, I believe, 16 points and 6 rebounds. If you want to go up a little bit, I believe he's had 8 rebounds in 4 of his last 5 games. He had a game where he had 8 blocks and steals not too long ago, 5 blocks and steals. It just comes down to the foul trouble for him, but against Indiana, should have no trouble. And like you can see here, the pace environment does project to be quite high. The Memphis has been running even faster than Indiana has, and they are on the road. So I think they'll be running and gunning versus Indiana tonight in a very high-scoring affair. And I think that Jaren Jackson is poised for an over for his fantasy score. So as always, if you tail, give Prizepicks hell, and if we fail, do not bail. Whether you want to go OG Anunoby, points, rebounds, and assists, or the fantasy score, I do like both. Still the best matchup in the NBA for both those categories. And Jaren Jackson, I would take the fantasy score. I just wanted to show you the data for the blocks and steals. If you want the blocks and steals, take that one. But I think I like the fantasy score a little bit better. He will score, he will rebound, and he probably won't foul out against the Pacers. But you never know. Jaren Jackson can always surprise me with a stinker of a game. But I think today he's going to go over that fantasy score, and we'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. I'm out. Peace. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to drop us a like and subscribe for future content. And if you want to get access to some of these great tools over on OddsJam, make sure you go check them out. This positive EV tool is one of the best ones out there for any Prizepicks bettor. Go check the link in the description to go check that out. And make sure you use our promo code WAKEUP for a 50% discount on any package across their whole site. Make sure to click the link in the description to go check that out and get your 50% off. And make sure you go to Prizepicks and use promo code WAKEUP for a 100% deposit match up to $100. Promo code WAKEUP at OddsJam, promo code WAKEUP at Prizepicks. Make yourself some money, get yourself some better tools, and let's get it.